What's up, Trucker Strict Mick here, and today we're going to be going over weeks 31 and 32 as a lease purchase driver here at Wheeler Trucking. I'm fairly happy with the program so far, and as I've stated before, the only thing that I would really change is outright financing my own truck that's a little bit older instead of lease purchasing a brand new one that's $178,000 over the life of the lease purchase agreement in 7 years. You end up paying about $310,000. And as we all know, things have gotten a little bit worse in the financing world. So, the longer that you're financing a truck for, the more you're going to pay in interest. And it's kind of exponentially gotten worse over the last couple of years because of the high rates. So, as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Maybe you've got some questions, concerns, or maybe you're looking to get into a specialized field like I am. So, let's get right into what's going on here for the weeks. All right, and I'm going to be breaking these down into 2 weeks at a time videos instead of doing every week, make it a little bit easier on me and a little bit easier for anyone who wants to look at the different weeks and months to compare. All right, so right off the back, you see I ran 2,691 miles. So this particular week, I ran quite a few empty miles from Texas all the way back to Avon, Ohio. I turned back around after doing a local load going back down to Claiborne, Texas. So I got really, really good fuel economy on this load because I knew we were kind of slow. So I chilled doing about 60 miles an hour on the way back. And as most of you know, these modern trucks, when you get them right into the sweet spot, they're really, really efficient. And when you run them like that, they have a lot less problems with the DEF and other things. So here we had an oil change was $511. Now this came out of the maintenance fund instead of my actual weekly settlement here. And I'll go down here and show you real quick. So my maintenance fund is built up to $65.58. Now, if you walk away from a lease, the only real big downside is you lose all of this money for repair, maintenance fund, and escrow. And then the same thing for any payments that you made to the truck. So looking right here, I'm at $14,592 for how much I've paid to the truck so far. So for this particular week, final pay to the truck after fuel and everything was $31.81, and driver pay was $15.67. As stated in previous videos, our agreement here is basically that you get a company driver check and a settlement check 1099. So on that other check, I still have like a 401k, health insurance they pay for, and things like that. So I get a little bit more than what's shown here. But anyways, so for that 2,691 mile week, between both checks was $47.49.19. So that's $1.76 per mile profit. Now, if I was just a company driver, that would have been $29.60. So $47.49 versus $29.60. It's a pretty good deal if you ask me. So let's go on to the next week here of 8/22. I did a similar thing here again. I came back empty from Texas all the way back to Ohio, did a couple of more short loads, and then went over on to Ontario and Champlain, New York. So this is, again, another pretty good week. I ran 3,077 miles, as stated before, 224 miles. So that leaves us with the driver pay at $17.92, truck pay $5,100. And again, I did the same thing where I drove pretty slow because I know we're not pumping out, freight as fast as we would be. It's an election year. Things are a little bit slower than expected. So this is where things should normally be most of the time, but we've had a few weeks that have been slow this year, unfortunately. So after, fuel, lease purchase insurance, maintenance fund, an escrow, which will stop when I get to 3,000, that leaves us with $33.19.22 to the truck and $17.92 to the driver, being me. So that's $5,111.26 for the week. Now, if I compare that to what I would have made as a company driver, that would have been $33.84. So $5,111 versus $3,384. A pretty good deal if you ask me. Like I said, I'm very happy with the lease purchase program so far. And again, my maintenance fund's getting up to $7,000. My escrow's getting up to $1,500, and once that reaches $3,000, it stops. And once this one reaches $30,000, it'll stop. And you're gonna have things like oil changes every other month here. You're gonna need tires, differential changes, regular maintenance like that. And these Freightliner Cascadias are some of the most reliable trucks when you run them the right way. If you run them balls to the wall, hammering down everywhere, you're going to have a lot more problems than people that slow down and run them in the correct RPM range. So just a quick point back to the money that I've made this month, right? So for 8/15, we're looking at 47.49, 8/22, 5,111. 8/8 was 25.27, and 8/1 was 16.73. So for the month of August, the truck profited 14,061 between the truck check and the company driver check that I received. So again, I'm fairly happy with where I'm at. The only thing I would change is getting into my own truck so that it's paid off in a year, making the same payments I have right now of $768 a week versus leasing the truck out over 7 years. So when I do walk away from the lease, I'm going to lose that probably about $50,000 I've paid into the truck so far, along with $30,000 for the repair and maintenance fund. But I look at it as, in the long run, it's a better option so that the truck is paid off, it's mine. If anything ever happens, I don't have to worry about I paid all this money into a truck that's never going to be mine. So again, like, subscribe, comment below if you got any questions, concerns, or maybe you have an idea of how I can make things a little bit better for myself. Well, have a good day and keep the shine side up.